I think that is one thing I'm worried about if I'm the Clippers, though, that the Jazz are going to keep barraging and shooting away, that I wonder if the math ultimately flips the other way. The Ringer NBA Show, presented by Heineken. The summer of can is here. Heineken believes you can twist any situation into something positive. You just need a fresh take. So here are some fresh takes from the Western Conference semifinal matchup between the Clippers and the Jazz here. Woz, what do you think about the Jazz's chances to come back in this series?
I think they have a decent chance because even as they're injured, they're still the more talented side, specifically with Kawhi Leonard being out for the postseason. That being said, their offense is hobbled. The two engines of their offense, Mike Conley, who hasn't played a single minute in this series, and Donovan Mitchell are on gimpy legs. So this is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Can't wait to go to Staples on Friday.
Rob, do you think this is one of the best games Paul George has ever played, or maybe like one of the most meaningful he's ever had in his career?
Definitely the most meaningful. I mean, just with the stakes of this particular game, and the position he's put himself in, he's a player who wants to be considered of the superstar class. He will remind you of his quote unquote MVP season. That is important to him that he's considered among those players. And if you're going to be in that class, if you want to be in that category, these are your moments. Your teammate goes out, you have to deliver in a huge way or else your team is going to lose. And man, did Paul George deliver. And I think what was most impressive about this game from him and the Clippers is that their offense was Paul George driven, but it wasn't necessarily Paul George centric all the time. Like, he wasn't low rent James Harden in this game. He got to work off the ball. They really needed Reggie Jackson. They really needed an extra set of hands in this game just to handle and do some stuff. But they got there in the end. And Paul George, again, just a tremendous performance from him offensively, when I think a lot of us could have seen the Clippers easily folding in this position.
Woz, what do you think?
I'm always more mystified when Paul George lays a complete egg and turns into a pumpkin. I just used two metaphors right there, both pretty terrible. But seriously though, I'm always more surprised by Game 6 in Denver than these type of performances. Because look at the guy. He's physically gifted. He's very skilled. Why should he not be able to turn in these great performances on a more consistent basis? I'm honestly, like, when I see him do craziness, I'm like, what is up with this dude? When I see him come out tonight and have this type of game, it's like, I've seen this guy go toe-to-toe with LeBron James before, right? Where you come out of a freaking game and you're like, wow, this guy freaking matched LeBron in a big moment, right? Like, I've watched him do that throughout his career, have those type of games. So yeah, I'm always going to be more surprised when he plays like, J.R. Swish.
It's true. His shot, I gotta say, has to be one of the most pure that the NBA has right now. And I don't really know what that means, but I want to say that it's so wet, but like, I know that I'm way too white to say,
we're getting into the green room. Listen, I know this is the late night version of the green room, but Verrier, please relax yourself.
The shot is wet.
No, but there's your breakout right there.
Yeah. There you go. Video breakout right there. But when he's on, man, I'm surprised when he misses, but I have to say, when it was nutchet time, as Woz likes to say, or something like that, you did start to see other guys step up around him. Reggie Jackson, just from the grave, man, has completely revitalized his career. I was saying before we logged on to this chat here that I was telling one of our mutual friends who is a Clippers diehard, I guess we'll call him, and I said right before they played that first game in Dallas that as soon as they put Reggie Jackson in the starting lineup, this was over. Because I had no faith that he could play defense whatsoever. And here he is calling for the ball in crunch time, calling for a screen. And he wasn't that bad. He really kind of saved him there. Tjarks, what do you think about Reggie in this one?
I mean, he cooked 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert off the dribble. I mean, give the man his flowers. That was amazing. I would say all too with the Clippers this game. Yeah, I mean, for Paul George, it really helps. I'm looking up Royce O'Neal. He's 6'4", 225. That's your defensive stopper on the wing. And I would say Royce is probably like a decent athlete, not even a plus athlete. Like, that's how bad Utah's perimeter defense is. Like basically Royce O'Neal is the only guy who can guard on the perimeter in this team. They cannot guard anybody. So it's just a matter of you're going to get to your shots. If you make your shots, you're going to beat them. They've got to win shootouts. They just can't guard.
Yeah, and specifically a matchup like the Clippers, I thought they were very pointed in their attacks of Rudy, right? Like they were like, all right, Rudy, you want to sit back and you want to play the paint. We don't got anybody that could take it to you anyway, for real. So we're going bombs away. And, those last possessions where Tjarks is right. Reggie Jackson is he's finding Rudy's guy and he said, come set a screen right now so I could take a wide open jump shot. Like they were looking for Rudy. And then on switches, guys were feeling very comfortable getting to their spots and finding their shots as well. But honestly, and I hate to sound so redundant and beat the horse with the dead leg again, is that Donovan Mitchell was clearly hobbled tonight, and you have no Mike Conley. And, it's cute when Jordan Clarkson gets to rev it up with the bench units and soak up and hog up way too many freaking possessions. And it's nice that you have Joe Ingles as a secondary, third best ball handler, perimeter creator, et cetera, et cetera. But that don't get it done in these types of games, right? Like if your guy who's elite at it is hobbled and so therefore can't even be good, essentially, and Mike Conley is out, you see what can happen to these teams.
Right. Those takes, those were so fresh, but you can get out there and find your own fresh takes. Grab a pack of Heineken from your local retailer or have one delivered right to your door. Must be 21 years of age to purchase.
Mine was already open.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.